In my early 20s, some of you know I made Aliyah to Israel. And one of the things that I loved most about living in Israel was seeing the way the ancient words of Torah came to life in the public square. I would ride the bus most every day from my apartment in Jerusalem to Hebrew University or to my job, and I would often see a sign on the bus that said, Mipnei Seva Takum, rise before an elder, reminding passengers to offer their seats to an older person. This verse is part of a passage, pun intended, that comes from the Holiness Code in Parashat Kedoshim, one of our most cherished sections of Torah that we just read. The section includes mitzvot ben adam lechavero, mitzvot that pertain to our ethical treatment of one another. If we are to lead a life infused with Kedusha, a life in which we strive to rise above our baser instincts, we're instructed to be as punctilious in how we treat each other as we are about our ritual observances like keeping kosher or Shabbat. The full verse states, Mipnei seva takum v'hadarta pnei zaken v'yareta melohecha ani Adonai. Rise before the aged and show deference to the old. You shall fear your God. I am Adonai. Our rabbis make a distinction between a seva and a zaken. A seva, the one you rise before, is a person great in years, while a zaken, the one you show deference toward, is a wise elder. How do we know the two words mean different things? A midrash teaches that zaken should be read ze kaneh, or kana, meaning this one acquired, or this one acquired wisdom. For the rabbis, this comes to teach that we not only honor our sages, but also anyone who is an elder. And what defines an elder is, of course, up for debate. Our notions of old age are socially constructed. But what does it mean to show deference? A midrash from Bamidbar Rabbah teaches it means that one may not stand in their place, may not sit in their place, and may not contradict their statements. And when one asks about a halacha, one should ask with respect. One should not interject to answer. One should not interrupt their statements. Too often, an older person may feel overlooked by society or in community. But in Jewish culture, we make sure that elders feel honored, revered, and always relevant. In my Midrash class this past Wednesday, in a shameless plug, if you want to study some meaningful and fascinating Midrash, join me every other Wednesday over Zoom at 9:30 a.m. In the class, a few members brought up what it feels like to be offered a seat on the bus by someone, to be seen as an elder, when they don't see themselves that way. So that's what's meant to be a courteous act can sometimes have unintended consequences. It might even be taken as an insult. This is an important point, but it never hurts to be gracious, even appreciative, when people go out of their way to see us and offer a seat, whether we are differently abled, pregnant, or just looking especially tired that day. Jewish tradition seems more concerned that people won't offer their seats. As the psalmist cries, Al tashlichenu le'et zikna, kichlot kochi al ta'azveni. Do not cast me off in old age. When my strength fails, do not forsake me. Human inclination may be to look away when someone needs us most. Spending time with someone who is very sick or very old can be upsetting, perhaps because it reminds us of our own frailty and mortality. But the Torah is challenging us to remember that a person's value lies not in what they produce, what they look like, or in any superficial characteristic. People possess inherent worth because they are human. Each one of us is an irreplaceable child of God. I'm most touched by a midrash from Masechet Kiddushin that explains why our verse ends with the words, "You shall revere your God, I am Adonai." What does rising and showing honor to the aged have to do with remembering to have reverence for Adonai? We might think, the midrash says, that we can close our eyes to the sight of an elder, ignoring our responsibilities. After all, who will know? But the verse reminds us, you shall fear and revere your God. In other words, at all moments we stand before God. We live our life in God's presence. Our actions must measure up to the standards set by the Holiness Code. So even if no one is watching, we know, and God knows, what's expected of us. To live with a healthy fear of God is to do mitzvot just because they are right. It's to hold fast to our moral code, regardless of what others are doing, whether or not anyone else can see. Rise up, says the Torah. Rise up, reach up, strive to be the person you want to be, and the person God wants you to be. Shabbat Shalom.